guys, and welcome back to another video. So I am back with my Lilith series. It is Aquarius season after all, therefore we're going to be taking a look at the Black Moon Lilith within the sign of Aquarius. Happy birthday to all of you solar Aquarians out there. Yes, yes, yes. I myself am a solar Aquarian, and my birthday is tomorrow, the 8th of February. Of course, this video is specifically for those of you who do have Black Moon Lilith within the sign of Aquarius. I happen to have my Black Moon Lilith in the sign of Aquarius as well, so yeah, be talking about some of my own experiences here in today's video. Now, before we do get started, if you don't know what Lilith is within astrology, then please be sure to watch my introduction video to Lilith. And also, if you don't know which sign your Lilith is in, then I've inserted a little Black Moon Lilith calculator in the description box as well. Okay, so if you have Lilith within the sign of Aquarius, you, my friend, are going to be quite the experimental person when it comes to unleashing your sexuality. In fact, you're probably the most experimental of the entire zodiac. You know, if your partner asks, hey, you want to try this? You're like, yeah, cool, okay. If your partner asks, you want to try that? Yeah, cool, okay. What about this? What about this? You're like, hell yes. Yes. There just are simply no limitations to the amount of moves that you want to make with your body. To the amount of ways that you want to express how badly you want to explore your sexuality. I was recently in London for the weekend, so yeah, I was there just the weekend that passed, and I visited this really cool place, this really cool store called Cyber Dog, I believe, and it's located in Camden Town in London. You guys should have seen it. It was crazy. It had robots on the wall, it had colorful lights everywhere, they were just popping out, it had beaming lasers, it had dancers that were dancing on their own little individual stages. And the items of clothing that they had were insane. I'm talking outfits with spaceships on them, outfits with just galaxies on them, outfits that just looked really sci-fi. You know, kind of like what's her name? Mila Jovovich, I think, in The Fifth Element. You know that movie? In The Fifth Element, she's got the really crazy ginger hair. And also, the same actress is in Resident Evil. And I even think Resident Evil would have reminded me of this place. Because Fifth Element and Resident Evil, I can see sort of some similarities there. Kind of funny, because I used to get told in a hotel that I used to work in that I kind of look like the girl from The Fifth Element. To be fair, that was when I did have bright ginger hair. I even remember trying on these pair of glasses that were like this, you know, like the Star Trek glasses. But the best part was the downstairs. So you would go down to the underground section, and it was filled with so many sex toys and outfits. Photography was not allowed in this area. It was super, super kinky, but I mean weird. Like a weird kinky. It even had two robots that were intertwined by cables. Yes, they were making love, having sex via cable. Yes, this place just screamed Lilith in Aquarius to me. Yeah, to all of you with your Lilith in Aquarius, head on down to Cyberdog London. You won't be disappointed. Though I am going to be honest here, I'm not too fond of all that stuff myself, no. Yes, I enjoy experimentation, and I would say that I do have a very up for anything type of attitude, but when it comes to being super kinky with like toys and things, I don't know. I'm not bothered. But yes, if you do have Lilith in the sign of Aquarius, you just might be the type of person who is willing to try just about anything once. Just for the sheer hell of it, really, especially if nobody else has tried it before. You're willing to break through all the sexual codes of conduct, whatever they are, right? The more wackier, the more bizarre, the more quirky, the more outside of the box, the better. or should I say the more outside of the bed, the better, because you're willing to also try it in the most random and unique of places. It's really through your independent attitude in regards to sex that you do all of these things, and you're not going to be shy about expressing it to the other person either. You might just enjoy sex via technology, so cyber sex. I guess the store was called Cyber Dog. Oh my gosh, I'm seeing why it was called that now. Heck, you might even drawn to unconventional lifestyles such as polyamory? Polyamory, is it pronounced? Basically where you have more than one partner, okay? And yeah, drawn to the likes of that, and also drawn to the likes of orgies. You might possibly be the type to get involved with swingers parties. You know, it's interesting because I was actually talking about the whole concept of polyamory with my Aries friend just a couple of weeks back, and he said that he would be the type of person who would be up for it, you know? He'd be up for these types of relationships. But for me personally, I was like, no, I don't think I'd get involved with that, to be honest. I mean, I have my Venus and my Mars in the sign of Capricorn. I'm already trying to climb one mountain, thank you very much. And I also think my Virgo energy is just too hygienic and picky. Okay, I have enough things to worry about than worrying about my sexual health that can be connected to the likes of orgies and things. But ultimately, guys, by having Lilith within the sign of Aquarius, there is a sense of sexual openness to you, and you are going to be the embodiment or embody just rebellion and the likes of conventional notions of sexuality and romance. Well, they might just bore you to death. You might possibly have the more conventional types really hot and bothered under the collar, but only for a little while until you just jet off in your spaceship. Especially if that person shows any form of emotional tendencies towards you. You come in as fast as lightning, you electrify the person, you electrify them, and then you just leave them, whilst the person is just sitting there as if they are in this electric chair, just all of their hopes and their dreams have just been sucked out of them like some alien looking vampire. You are going to be highly promiscuous and freedom loving, and you know that no one can ever hold you back or pin you down. Okay, they might pin you down for a quick sexual experience, and then you'll swiftly just move on. You are going to aspire to total and absolute freedom, and when you do cause chaos for someone else, you simply will not care one bit. You'll just ignore the situation completely and not admit to your faults. Consequences for my actions? What are those? Never heard of those before. But the reason for why this happens is because you just move in so quickly, then before you know it, you've left. And so you'll find yourself constantly searching for the new thing, for the fresh new topic, the new experiment that you want to get involved with. You may as well just be wearing this lab coat, because it seems like all of these chemicals are being just tossed around. They're just being tossed around like nobody's business here, as you try to then just gather up all of the scientific facts. I certainly hope that Lilith is wearing her protective gear here, because if she is not careful with those chemicals, then she just might get them in her eyes or on her skin. So she very much will have to deal with the consequences. Just like I hope that she's going to be well protected if she does decide to get involved with the likes of orgies, because again, consequences. It's truly about realizing that there are consequences to the erratic and sudden changes or the sudden decisions that you try to make if you do have Lilith within the sign of Aquarius. And as a solar Aquarian, trust me, I know this all too well. And also as someone with her Lilith in the sign of Aquarius, trust me, I know this all too well. Furthermore, you might also possess this deep fear of powerlessness if you do ever feel like you're not getting your own way. You know, I feel that with Aquarians, their stubborn behavior comes out when they aren't able to express their individuality, their own unique way of doing things. Seriously, you can tell an Aquarius a million times over that this has been the way it's always worked, okay? It's been like this for years. This is the correct way. But the Aquarius is just going to refuse. If they think it can be done a different way, then they're going to completely disregard the way it's being done for, I don't know, centuries, tens upon tens of years. They have their idea and they want to do it their way. Sure, yes, an Aquarius might still go with your idea, but first they need to experiment with their own idea. By having Lilith within the sign of Aquarius, it's going to be very, very difficult to tame these tendencies within you. You'll not even stop, actually. You'll probably not even stop to listen to other people's opinions. So regardless of what anybody else says or what they think, you're going to do it anyway. You're going to ignore the rules, completely disregard the rules, and you might even possess a strong dislike towards any people who try to enforce any power on you. Yet, you might try to enforce power on other people with that sort of my way or the highway attitude. Even when you're wrong, you won't admit when you're wrong. Someone can be showing you the evidence, right? Showing you the clear stated evidence to say, you are wrong on this. But no. I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong. Because for you, what you say is absolute truth. All principles are broken here. They're smashed into smithereens with no effort as to piece them back together. You're going to want to live according to your own rules and preferences, but you're not even going to know what they are. What are they? Lilith just does not know what they are. Because it seems like the moment that Lilith here forms a rule for herself, she's going to just change it suddenly with this contradictory behavior. Kind of reminds me when I met with my friend, my Libra friend, a few weeks back, and we actually had a fallout years ago. This is when I was 19 and I'm coming 26, so that was a long time ago. She told me about how I was adamant. I was like, no, I'm not losing my virginity until I'm married. I'm just not doing it. And then I got into a relationship, and after a few weeks of being in the relationship, I lost my virginity. I just called her on the phone. I was like, oh my gosh, Libra friend, I did it. It's such a big deal for me, blah, 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 blah. But I think she just thought that was so contradictory and it was going against everything that I had expressed and I stated. I think she just didn't know how to handle my shift. And as you do break things, you're also going to want everything immediately. It's just a lot of nervous tension here due to Uranus's rulership of Aquarius, as though you need to be moving in some way, if not physically, then certainly mentally. Stability is just not something that you overly enjoy. Within you, there is a form of this nervousness, this great tension, these potential accidents, these sudden trials that you face as you search for the absolute truth. Ultimately, you're going to show irresponsibility, carelessness. You're going to show zero reliability or admittance to when you are wrong or when you screwed up. You'll possibly even betray your own friends for these reasons. You might find yourself going for surgery during some point of your life due to those, accidents that potentially might happen. In fact, you might misjudge your friends quite easily. You might form completely wrong conceptions of them or what your friends might think of you, perhaps. Maybe your friends feel or think that they can't get close enough to you, and so your behavior might set them into this whirlwind of confusion. And when it comes to relationships or partnerships, you might like to keep those types of partnerships on a friendship basis. Because for you, you don't want to commit yourself to anyone. Truly, Lilith here, if you have Lilith in Aquarius, it's about learning to express your true personality. It's about learning to open yourself up with this placement. Yes, I understand that you might like to live what you have chosen according to your own will, But you also must realize that limits still do exist for a reason. And I'm not just talking about limits for yourself, I'm also talking about the limits of others as well here. Other people do have their own limits, and they will know themselves what they're willing to tolerate from you or from another person and what they're not willing to tolerate. So if you do cross their boundaries or their limits, then I'm pretty sure that you're going to be met with some sort of resistance along the way. Ultimately, the key lesson here that you need to know and you need to learn is that inner freedom is crucially important. Constant changes, migration, and issues, they will follow you throughout your life. Trust me, I know of this all too well. I do have Uranus within my 4th house, and I also have the Aquarius sun and Lilith in Aquarius. There have been so many changes in my life that I've made. When I even tell other people about them, they just find it so fascinating. They find it so fascinating, but at the same time, I do appreciate and admire stability. I've learned over the years the importance of stabilizing myself and setting up a safe place, a place of comfort, okay? A place of comfort and stability where I feel physically and emotionally supported. Another lesson with this placement as well is just the accepting that we are going to make changes throughout our lives in terms of friendships. It's just a natural part of life. But ultimately, guys, to conclude this video, the real lesson here is really understanding that inner freedom is way more important than the external. Okay guys, so that concludes my video on Lilith within the sign of Aquarius. If you would like to see more videos from me and you've not yet subscribed, then go ahead and click that subscribe button. Thank you all so much for watching, thank you for subscribing, and I will be back with another video very, very soon.